AITA, my sister is very ill and asked me to take custody of her kids when she passes away. I said no. I feel like backstory is key here, so I'll try to be as in-depth as I can within the letter limit in subrules. I am 28 and she is 34. Me and my sister grew up in a bad family. Our dad was alright but also an alcoholic. Unfortunately he died when I was 8 and our mom was straight up abusive. Our quality of life more or less went from crappy but manageable to horrid. What was even worse for me was my sister leaving a year later to live with her boyfriend, leaving me alone with mom. The next years I won't go in depth on, but I ended up being taken by child services at 13 and put in to foster care until I was 18. I more or less decided to move on. I forgot about my past and family. Decided not to seek them out or speak to them again. Got a job, put myself through college, and with a lot of hiccups, like a lot, I ended up graduating at 24 and have since been doing extremely well for myself. Just to be clear, during all this time, my sister never once reached out to me either. That was until 3 months ago when I got a long message on social media. No apologies, no discussion of the past. Just a long message about how she was sick and needed her brother right now. I wanted to ignore it, but my girlfriend convinced me to go see her. It was awkward. She has 4 kids, no husband or boyfriend in sight, and I don't think she has any friends either. She reminded me of our mother. All she did was talk about her herself. Regardless, I felt bad, so visited her a few more times. Up until last week, that is. She told me she had gotten her affairs in order and she put me as the person she wanted her kids to go to. I immediately told her that was not happening and that she should reach out to their father or something. She cried, saying they were not in the picture, and begged me. I held firm and ended up leaving when she started screaming at me. I haven't spoken to her since, but I have received a load of messages from her switching between cursing me out and begging to take them. I feel terrible. I could technically give these kids a good life and I'd essentially put them through what I went through if I don't, but I do not want to give up my life and what I have built for the sake of a woman I barely know, and kids I know even less. Edit. So I consistently get replies that are made by people who have obviously not read my post and go off on the premise that I am refusing to take the kids to punish my sister. I said no because a stranger I have not seen since I was 9 asked me to make a life-altering decision on taking care of 4 children who are literal strangers to me, 2 of whom are toddlers. I would essentially ruin my own life. Any punishment my sister gets, she will get after she passes away, on the off chance there is a God. Thanks for all the replies though. Some have been very insightful. NTA. Being blood-related doesn't mean they're always family. You're not entitled to do everything. The fact that those kids will go through what you went isn't your fault and won't make you an asshole. Nah, you're not tough for refusing to take custody of, essentially, a stranger's children. But I'm not going to call a dying, desperate woman an off this either. If someone is basically slipping down a cliff, you don't call them an off or swearing or screaming at people for help, even though that isn't okay behavior in the strictest rights and wrongs of it. I'm appalled at the lack of empathy for her in the comments. It is within your power to help them without taking them yourself. Simply by having an extended family relationship with them while they go through the foster system, you will be someone they can tell if they are not well treated. You can be an advocate for them. Just the fact that a relative is around and is seen to care for them in itself gives some protection from predatory and neglectful carers. I think it would be a decent thing, and a reasonable middle ground, to offer to do that much. NTA. If the kid's father's are known, they would automatically go to them first. No one else could take legal guardianship of the kids without the father's being contacted. Your sister should contact the father's about what's going on. Nah, while she sounds like a piece of work, I can imagine the terror of knowing you will die soon and desperately trying to find somewhere to place your kids so they don't end up in the system after you're gone. She's not thinking about you at all. You don't matter. All that matters to her right now is being able to die knowing her kids have a safe home lined up. But as sad as that is for her and them, you're not obliged to give up your life to become a full-time carer to anyone's children. She's not the asshole for asking, but you're not the asshole either for saying no. And she needs to make alternative arrangements given that you don't want to take her children. It's not your responsibility to raise them. And you were right. Reaching out to the dads would probably be your best bet. This is a shitty situation for everyone. Most of all the kids. But she can't expect anyone to take them in when she's done nothing to foster a relationship between the children and that person. NTA, it's a shitty situation, but it's really not your responsibility. Wow, people are really quick to judge the sister. You don't know her or what her life has really been like. She was still a child herself when she ran away, and you don't know her motives for not contacting up. Perhaps she simply just couldn't. She's acting out of desperation now. NTA. It really doesn't matter blood or not. They are your kids. You didn't even know they existed last year. You struggled to build a life and you managed to make something of yourself even though everything was against you. As a young mother, I urge you not to give your life up if you are not 1000% sure that's what you want. Nah, your sister is obviously not in a good place to be making decisions. So she's not ta here for me, and you're not ta for saying you don't want to suddenly take on these kids. The situation sucks, but you can't be expected to just drop everything in this way. She wants to die in peace, knowing her kids will be taken care of. She loves her kids enough to worry what's going to happen to them after she's gone. I can't imagine going through that. Of course, you're not responsible for her or her kids. Just such a sad situation all around. I truly hope she finds some comfort placing her kids. You have to do what's right for you. As you said, you don't want to give up your life. Nah, I don't blame her for asking. She's dying. You both came from a childhood of abuse. Apparently there is no one else. I'm guessing the other family, dads and whatever, are probably also abusive. Which tracks. Or she'd have asked them. She knows what foster care is like. You're her last chance to give those kids a chance. She knows you crawled out. She didn't. She was hoping. That doesn't mean you have to do it. Would it be nice? Yup. Of course they are probably not going to have a great life. That's just reality. It's not your fault though. Do you have to? No. It would change your life completely. Not necessarily good or bad, you can't know because you don't even know these children. You might love them. You might not. They could be great, they could be monsters. Who knows? If you want, you can visit just them to see if you'd even be interested. But you didn't have to do that. You really don't. But you do know what foster care is like. So if you want to visit just them, do it. See if you feel anything for them. If you could see yourself caring for them. If you can't and don't, then you know. Or you could just remember that they aren't yours. And forget about it. It's whatever you could live with. But I'm guessing that since you are posting here, you are a bit conflicted. Personally, I'd meet them a few times and see if I could picture it. Nah, you are not an asshole for not wanting to take on 4 kids at 28. Especially ones you haven't been involved with. At the same time, she wants someone to take care of them and not be put in the system. Not sure the deal with the father. But if they have nothing to do with them now, they would likely be shitty parents. Are there other family members, cousins or anything? Regardless, if possible, try to at least be involved in their lives. The uncle they can call. Someone steady in their life. Nah, you are of course in your right to say no. She definitely can ask. Try to remember your sister might not have been able to take you if she was only 15. You are well within your rights to say no. I would really think on this decision though. Make sure you have no regrets. I'm sorry you have been put in this position. This is something I feel transcends this subreddit. This isn't whether or not someone's feelings are hurt or whether someone was wronged. This is about trauma and children. I get it. Your family has done you dirty and you have no good relations with them. That's more than understandable. You have the ability to give these kids what you never had. Safety. Do you have to take them in? No. Are you obligated to your sister to do it? No. No matter what you do, please sit and think about your choice. Don't look at it as, what will others think of me? Will people think of me as a bad person because I have the ability to help out these kids and won't? Because this choice doesn't only affect you. It affects these children. It affects your girlfriend. Don't come here looking to feel better just because your sister is in a hole for leaving you. Which she is. But again, really think about this choice. Really think about it. NTA. Seems like you grew out of a pretty horrible situation. Your sister was not there for you. You were not close growing up. Honestly, I could try to come up with reasons why you aren't the asshole, but I'll get to the point. Those kids just aren't your responsibility.
Nah.
NTA at all. I get that they're blood and we've been taught that that is very important and all that. But she is basically a stranger to you and so are her kids. If you're gonna feel guilty for those kids, start feeling it for all the other kids that are in the system as well, because you know them as well as your sister's kids. In short, don't feel guilty because you have nothing to feel guilty about. Edit. Spelling is hard sometimes. It's a horrible situation, but the honest truth is that you'd probably do a piss-poor job for these kids if you weren't prepared to put your entire future on hold. Being a parent means putting your desires on hold, and putting the kids' needs first. If you can't do that, then don't even consider it. You just mess them up by giving them false hope. NTA. Best to cut all ties. Don't let her message you by blocking her. Rip this band-aid off and move on. If these kids grow up and decide to seek you out, just be prepared to be honest with them. Good luck. Nah, your sister is desperate to give her kids a better life than you two had. I will say that I got a long message on social media. No apologies. No discussion of the past. Is weird that you would expect an apology. What does she need to apologize to you for? She had to move in with her boyfriend at 19 years old to escape the abuse. Did you expect her to kidnap you or something? Or adopt you when you went into foster care? How is she, a 19-year-old girl living with her boyfriend, supposed to go about adopting you and raising a 13-year-old? She's still a kid herself at that point. She did the best that she could for herself. I don't blame you for having some resentment, but you should probably see a therapist and work through it. It's not her fault what happened to you. It's your parents' fault. I would like to say no. I understand that Op may feel resentment to his sister as she's only reaching out when she's in need. But I would say this is different from maybe asking for money or other non-life or death matters. The sister is dying and desperate. Maybe she could have exhausted all options and Op is the last resort she had. Given how she only reached out now and not previously when she already had 4 kids and the dads are nowhere in the picture, and as others have said, it was difficult for her to have been responsible for Op when she left at 15 years old. She may not have reached out to Op previously cause she may not have wanted to negatively affect his life. That being said, 4 kids is a lot of responsibility to suddenly take up on. I'm not even sure what can Op do in such circumstances, and it's unfair to be suddenly thrown this responsibility. Ultimately, it seems that the kids are the one who will suffer the most from the episode. NTA, it's really not your responsibility and you have no reason to feel like it is.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.